All right, so voting. Why do I want to talk about voting today? Well, while I was on leave, to tie this in, I thought about that voting, about being the absentee voter as I was back in my state, of California, where I'm registered to vote, and thinking, wow, upcoming primaries across the United States, getting up ready for, even some presidential elections coming up here in the near future where people are starting to talk about whether they're throwing their hat in the ring. And where are we with our absentee voting, and where are we as military, whether we're Air Force or Army or Navy or Coast Guard or Marine, across the world, and where are we in educating our young, military on voting? People that we vote for as we are military members are the ones, in Congress and state and our federal government that are voting on, our pay, voting on our use of our military overseas, and how much money we get as an Air Force, as a Navy, as a Marine, as an Army, as a Coast Guard, and what we do with that. And so it's very critical, not just as an American citizen, but as a military member. It's very critical that we take the time to research our candidates, that we talk about voting, that we're registered to vote, and we're doing everything that we need to do to be that absentee voter. So a lot of us, in that age group between 17 and 24, come into the Navy during that time frame. And for many of us, we turn 18 or are 18 eligible to vote in the United States while we're in the military during our first hitch. And so we're learning how to vote for the first time while we're in the military. And for many of us, the first time we're going to vote is while we're overseas and having to use an absentee ballot. So for many of us, the first time we're voting, and we're voting overseas, when we're in the United States military, how do we do it? How do we vote? So for all of our young sailors out there and our young military, regardless of branch, how do you vote? You're in the military, you just turned 20 years old, it's the first election that you're able to vote in. You've never done it before. So I guess my first message out there is, don't be afraid to vote, or don't not vote because you're not familiar with how to vote. Find that assistance, find that chief, or find that, leader that can help you vote. Every command is required to have a voting assistance officer, right?
Yes.
So now that we all know that every command has a voting assistance officer, that's your first step. Find out who your voting assistance officer is. Where else can we go to get help? If you're in a remote location and you don't know who your voting assistance officer is, or you're on the road, or you kind of want to look things up yourself, everybody has a great website out there. Who's our website to go to?
That is FVAP.gov.
Right, and that's the Federal Voting Assistance Program, right? FVAP.gov. If your dependents that are of voting age are also with you overseas, can they get an absentee ballot? Can they vote absentee? Absolutely. And where can we find this information?
FVAP.gov.
That's right.
Best website ever.
That's right, the best website ever about voting.
Good.
Yeah, there's lots of information. Yeah. I know you have the website up, and you have looking at right now the frequently asked questions, and that's one of the questions in there, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, give us verbatim, right? It says under the uniform services, right? There's specific questions, and I think one of them was, can my dependents or can my spouse vote? Is that correct? So, what does it tell us on there?
Yeah, somebody asked my family members, they're not in the military, can they also vote absentee? And the answer, first word, yes. Eligible spouses and dependents, and that is U.S. citizens 18 years or older, of military personnel may vote absentee. Some states allow children of military personnel residing overseas who are U.S. citizens but who have never resided in the U.S. to claim one of their U.S. citizens' parents' legal state or residence as their own.
And see, that's good information, and
Yes.
that was something I didn't even think of and didn't know. So if your child turns 18 years old while you're stationed overseas and they haven't registered before, so what state do they claim? So they can claim either parents' state where they're registered, which is great because they haven't settled somewhere in the States yet. They've been overseas. And so that's great information.
Yeah.
When we bring this all together, age 18 or older,
Yes.
vote, 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 vote. If you're a first-time voter, register, 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 register. If you're overseas, whether you're active duty military or your dependent, spouse or child that is of a voting age, register, 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 vote, vote, vote. You are eligible as well for that absentee ballot. And if you are looking at changing your state of registered votership, where do you do that? How do you do that? And again, your voting assistance officer, www.fvap.gov, has a myriad of information on how to do that. Don't wait for things to happen to you. Make them happen for you.